I'm a professional property investor. What that means is I believe that I adapt to the market. Are the conditions right now here and in the UK very different from they were 12 months ago, 2 years ago? Absolutely. And some people are struggling right now. People just aren't changing. Now, I say professional property investor rather than full-time property investor because my belief is, why would you want to invest in property full-time? I don't want to spend my time doing that. I'm fortunate enough to spend my time doing what I'm really passionate about, which is speaking about property. And I want you to think about that. And I hope you've got some pen and paper to write some things down because I'm going to ask you some questions. This time of the day, sometimes people get a bit tired, so I want to engage your brain. And I want you to write down for me, what would you do if you didn't have to work? What would you do if you didn't have to work? Because so many people are conditioned they're going to have to work all their lives that they just don't know what they do. So I want you to write down a few things. What would you do if you didn't have to work? How would you spend your time? Would you go on a lot more holiday, travel? Would you set up a business which you'd never done before because you needed to cover your base costs? What would you do? Would you work for the community, set up a charity? Would you spend more time with your family? You might spend less time with your family, I don't know. What would you do with your time if you didn't have to work? Because I'm making a bit of an assumption here, but I guess you're probably here at this weekend and you've paid to come here, you've given up your time, and by the way, time is more valuable than the money you've paid. You can always earn more money, you can't get more time. So whatever you do from this weekend, you have to make sure you take something away and apply something you've learned, whatever it might be. You have to make this investment that you've made, because you'll never get this weekend back. Now, I guess you will have learned lots from the speakers, and hopefully you can learn some good stuff from me as well. And knowledge is great, but it's application of knowledge where you really get the power. And for you to improve your lives and to have a life-lasting success, you've got to take action. And it's interesting, I sometimes go to events and I speak at a lot of the big shows and things, and I see the same people come back year in, year out. And a lot of people come back because even though they've got the success, they recognize they can still learn more. And by the way, I don't have all the answers. I don't claim to know everything about property. You can never do it. I've been investing for almost 14 years now. Just in case you're wondering, I wasn't 14 when I started. I'm 37 now. But, and you should always be looking to learn more. In fact, the most successful people that I know are the people who are constantly investing in themselves. Would you agree with that? And constantly trying to stay at the top of the game. So it's very important you do that. So, what would you do if you didn't have to work? And also, at what point in the future would you like to be able to get to that point? Now, I love what I do. And I'm actually, because I speak at a lot of events, I'm quite busy doing that. I was speaking this morning. I flew over here from Birmingham. It didn't take me long to get here. But I was busy today. But I'm doing what I'm passionate about right now. Because I don't have to work, because I'm fortunate that the income from my property, and I have income from business, and I have the income from internet as well. I have all these multiple streams of income that allow me to do what I want to do. So if you want to do what you wrote down, you get to the point where you no longer have to work, no longer have to trade your time for money. When do you want that to be? And just jot that down. Because I think you've got to have a goal, you've got to focus, something to aim for. And it might well be that you say, in 5 years' time, I'd like to get to that position. Some of you might be 12 months, some of you might be, Monday would be good. Because I think if you write it down, there's something happens. Magic happens when you put your pen to paper. It's great to be thinking things, but write it down and something kind of happens, some sort of connection. And you just write things down and listen. It's amazing. Who writes their goals down, by the way? Yeah, I really recommend you do. I've written lists of things in the past, things I've not known how on earth I'm going to do. And I've put the list away and forgotten about them, found them when I've been tidying up, and I thought, blimey, I've done most of these things. Even though at the time I wrote them down, they weren't quite possible. Who's had that experience? Yeah, it's really quite amazing. So work out what you want, work out when you want it, and then you've got to work out the plan to get you there, whatever it might be. And I sometimes meet people who say, Simon, I really want to do property, I want to do internet, whatever it might be, but I haven't got any money, I haven't got any time, I'm really busy. Well, I'm sorry, if you've got no time and no money, it ain't working. Whatever you're doing, it's not working, is it? So you need to find something else that's going to work for you. And that might mean a bit of a step change to do something different. And you've got to work out what